What's going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Captains video for round 15. You guys enjoyed this last week, so looks like we're probably going to keep doing it if people are enjoying it, which is good. So good to see you guys enjoy it last week. Smashed over 100 likes, which is fantastic. So, but we're saying that. Because you smashed it out, let's try and get 150 likes on this video. That'd be very much appreciated. So if you are enjoying it, smash a big thumbs up. And make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. We're nearly at 2.5k subscribers. So make sure you smash that subscribe button as we are on the road to 3k. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you do. So if you haven't checked these videos yet, we just sort of run through our top 5 captains and sort of give the rundown of as to why I've put them there. So let's get stuck straight into it. So, number 1. It's funny enough, it's a fairly similar order to what's on the screen here for me. But Max Gawn is at my number 1 spot. So, the reason I've got this guy at number 1 is just, he's by far and away at the moment the highest averaging player at the moment. I'm just pulling up the numbers here. So, in terms of average, 121.4 is his average. Next is Sam Flanders, 113.6. And then you got Sheasel, Zorko, and Heaney averaging 112. Then you got a few averaging 110. Then that's it. So Gawn is by far and away the best averaging player in the comp. But it's not only that. It's the fact that he's had 2, 4, 6, 7 scores already this season, over 120. And of those 7 scores, only one of them has been below 134. Which is insane. Like, he's got some scores here. 137 against the Dogs, 146 against Port Adelaide, 149 against Brisbane, 134 against Richmond, 152 against St Kilda, and 148 against Collingwood, with the 122 against Fremantle in between. But 3 of those scores come in the last 3 weeks. So he comes against North this week, and he's at the MCG, which is where he's put up some big scores. Like, you got a 137 against the Dogs, 107 against the Hawks, 149 against Brisbane, 134 against Richmond, 92 against Geelong. That was in the wet. Carlton 109 was also in the wet as well. And 152 against St Kilda, 148 against Collingwood. So he loves playing the MCG this year. So I just think and most of us can probably put him as a VC, because I think a lot of us have got some good options on the Sunday. So he's a really good option as my number 1 option. Number 2, I've got Zach Merrett. So he's got West Coast this week. Scored the 110 against West Coast earlier in the season. Copped a bit of attention. I think it was from Jinby on the night, but again, he's been consistent. Only 2 scores below 100 this year. Rounds 9 and 10, both tag-affected games there. Hasn't had a big score over 115 since round 7 against Collingwood with a 123. I'm expecting that to change this week. I think this week he could go pretty big. He's averaged 113.9 in his career against West Coast as well in his 12 games. So he's got a good history against them. Dom Sheed isn't playing, so there is a chance that there's not really much of a tag against him. It's back at Marvel as well, and we know Eston love playing at Marvel, so I think Merrett could go quite big. And again, he's just a pretty safe sort of captain option if you go from like a Max into a Merrett the next day. So I like that combo there. At number 3, I've got Sam Flanders. So the reason I've got him here as well is because not everyone's going to have Zach Merrett. So Flanders is just a safe captain option, I think. Since round 4, when he moved into the midfield, he's gone over 100 in every game bar 1, where he scored a 98 against North up in Darwin. And funny enough, of those scores, only 3 of those scores since round 4 have been under 110. So he's been a real safe sort of 110 plus guy most of those weeks. He's come up against Freo. It is Optus, big wide open ground, sort of plenty of chances to get +6s there. Freo can be quite tricky for defenders to score, but I just think he's a really, really good captain option. If you didn't have a Merrett and you had a Gawn, you can go like a Gawn into a Flanders. So for me, I'm a big fan of Sam Flanders there. That's why I've got him at number 3. Number 4 is the only probably difference in terms of top 5 on Captain's Challenge that I've got. So I've got Errol Goulden at number 4. And a lot of people are going to have Sam Walsh higher, which I'll obviously speak about why I've got him a little bit lower in a sec. But Errol Goulden's there. Again, we've just seen a couple of big scores from him. 152 and a 127 in his last 2 games. He's now the number 1 highest averaging midfielder for the season. No, 151, sorry, and a 127. But his last 4 scores have all been over 115. 116, 119 was before the bye, and then obviously the 2 scores I just mentioned. Giants can be tricky, especially in these Sydney derbies, or Battle of the Bridge, or whatever what it's called. can be quite tricky to score. You normally don't see too many guys going big in these games. It's sort of, you get a few low hundreds and then a lot of 90s and 80s. But I think Goulden, if he's going to be the guy, I think he's a good VC option. If you didn't want to go Flanders on merit and you wanted to go someone and go Gawn captain. So I like Goulden on the Saturday. They're the twilight games. So obviously you've got to make sure that you're sort of on your phone and making sure and getting all your loops correct and ready to go. You should be able to, because obviously with people on bye this week. But yeah, Goulden for me, he's just been safe again. He had an 83 against Richmond in about round 4. But outside of that, he had back-to-back 90s. I think one of them against Free gave away 6 free kicks. Besides that, he's gone over 100 in every game. So he's been really consistent, very much like Flanders. Safe captain option, but he also does have that ceiling. So I do like him as well. And number 5, that's where I do put Sam Walsh. And part of me was tempted to leave him off of my top 5. I just think the Geelong matchup's too good to not have him in the top 5. The only thing I'm concerned, and that's the reason I've bumped him down a couple of spots to number 5, because on face value, the matchup, I'd put him at probably number 3 or number 2, potentially over Merritt. Because Geelong is a good matchup. They're easy for inside mids. The one thing I worry about with Walsh is that Geelong have shown an ability to tag in the past. And like I could see like a Mullen going with Walsh in this game. I could see an O'Connor. I could see an Atkins. There's a few guys there that I could see going with Walsh. I think Blitzarves is going to go head-to-head with Patrick Cripps. So I think one of those other guys is going to try and shut Sam Walsh down. So for me, that's the only reason I bumped him down a few spots. But he's still, if you've got him, I think he's a very, very good VC option. So if you wanted to go VC Walsh into Gawn and just have merit, then by all means, I'm happy enough to do that. The only reason I've got Walsh down, as I said, is just that tag risk. Goulden doesn't have that tag risk, I don't think, with Heaney and Warner. Flanders, someone could, but I don't really know who would do that. Maybe a Bailey Banfield, but I don't really see anyone tagging Flanders. They're going to more go to like Noah Andersons or Took is what we saw, but even a Rowell as well. Merritt could cop attention, so that's a flag, but with Sheed out, I think Merritt could go pretty well. And then Gawn, it's hard to tag a ruckman, so that's why Walsh is down a little bit lower, because I feel like he could potentially cop some attention. So, but the Geelong matchup's really, really good. And Walsh has been one of the most consistent players we've got. I think he's had 2 bad scores where both were tag affected as well, which is the flag. But every other game, Sydney got a 68 and he got a 79 against the Bombers. Every other game has been over 100. And he obviously hit the 133 against Port on a Thursday night as well. So he has got that ceiling there. Of the players I didn't put in here, Nick Martin I like against West Coast. My worry is if you got Merritt, I'd go Merritt. But it's sort of the role. You just sort of don't know what role he's. I think he's going to score well regardless of what role he's in. But do you really want to put him captain when you sort of don't know the role he's going to play? So that's the only reason I've got him. Don't have him in the top 5. Harry Sheasel is just playing a bit more forward. Against Melbourne could go okay, but I don't know if I'd be considering Sheasel at the moment for captaincy just with the role that he's playing. I just don't know if he can hit those ceiling scores like he was doing at half back. Zorko could be that guy's a VC that you sort of chuck the VC on, puts up a ceiling score. But against Port Adelaide, I find it a little bit more unlikely just because Port is such a restrictive team to score against. So that's why I don't have him in the top 5. Isaac Heaney is a safe captain option. He's not a VC in my eyes, just because he hasn't gone over 130 this year. He's been really consistent, but I just see him getting anywhere from 100 to 110 this game. So that's why I wouldn't worry about him this week. If you're going a Walsh captain and you didn't have a Gawn or anything like that and you want to go Heaney captain, I could see that. But for VC, probably not. Grundy as well, Giants, a good matchup. So Grundy could be a sneaky VC shout. I don't mind that if someone to go a little bit more unique. Giants have given up, and Briggs has given up points to Rucks this year. So he could definitely be a shout. Luke Ryan, I think, is going to respond with a better score this week against Gold Coast. Back at Optus, I think he'll go back over the ton this week. Cripps, I think, will cop attention, and I wouldn't be looking at him as a captain anyway, even though he does have the Geelong fixture. If you did have him, you could chuck a VC if you wanted to put a flyer on, but I'm not sure that he'd have the ceiling. And last couple, just touching here. Sarong, I like as well. Again, safe captain option. He'd probably be inside the 10, my top 10 if I did a top 10 there. Jordan Ridley could be probably more of, I don't even know. I probably wouldn't worry about Ridley, to be honest. Dunkley and Neil have both got a tough matchup there against Port Adelaide, so I wouldn't look at either. Nick Newman's a bit of a smoky one if you had him as a VC against Geelong. Could be pretty solid as well there. So there we got a mixture. So if I was to do a top 10, I would honestly go, I'd probably go Sarong at 6. Actually, no, I'll go Grundy. I'll go Grundy 6. I'll go Grundy 6 with that Giants matchup. So I'll put him 6 there. I'd go Martin 7. I would go Martin 7 with the West Coast matchup. Then I would go Sarong 8. I just think Gold Coast are a tough midfield to score against there. I would then go Luke Ryan at number 9. And then to round out, I'd probably go a Heaney, number 10, just because I think he's safe for 100 most weeks. But Zorko could be a sneaky VC shout there as well. I don't think there's anyone on this list I should have mentioned. Looking through here, not really, nah. So there's no one off the top of my head that I can think of. So that's probably there. That'd be my top 5 and probably top 10. So, but yeah, my plans for my VC and my captain this week, based on my rankings, I'll be going Gawn VC into Zach Merritt. It's nice to have my number 1 option as a VC this week and against North. Cherry's been a little bit tricky to score against this year and not easy, but I still think Gawn against North, MCG. Melbourne have got to respond. They've had some poor performances. So they're going to want to put a big score on this week, and I think Gawn's going to get amongst it. And then into Zach Merritt on the Sunday as well. If I'm watching Fox Footy and I hear word that West Coast are saying they're going to tag Merritt, I'd probably pivot to Flanders, who plays the final game of the round. And that's what I'd be doing if you guys have got those 3. And then, Goulden and obviously Walsh I like as well. But Gawn into Merritt for me. So, but yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys are doing with your captains and vice captains this week. And any captain questions and vice captain questions you want to do, leave them in the comments below. Even trade questions, put them in the comments below if you'd like me to answer those. If you'd like to ask me a question on Q, hit me up there at askmeonq.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics there. You can ask me all your captain and vice captain questions, your trade questions, team-dependent questions. You can send through your whole team, type it out. I can give you an audio response. It goes straight to email, and you get all that advice there. A lot more in-depth than what I could give you in the comments section here or as an individual message on any of the social platforms. Small fee there, but it does help support the channel, but then also at the same time gives you back a more in-depth response there. So if you'd like to use that, then a link is also in the description below for that one. So yeah, make sure you smash a like on the video as always, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll be back tomorrow night for the pre-lockout chat at 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Western Standard Time, and then the watch-along will be on Saturday night. Funny enough, watching Gawney, Melbourne versus North Melbourne at the MCG. So if you aren't doing anything on Saturday night and want to come and chill and chat some fantasy, then make sure you head on over and jump in the watch-along. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. So I'm out. Cheers.